Following a 4-day retreat up the Thames River, General Henry Proctor surrendered his 1,500 soldiers to William Harrison, with more than 3,000 troops in comparison. This took place near Moraviantown, Ontario, on October 5, 1813. During this battle, Indigenous leader Tecumseh was killed, and fierce Kentuckians proceeded to loot and burn buildings in the surrounding area. Most historians attribute this loss to a simple lack of resources and soldiers, but tend to forget about a small battle later that year, the likes of which reinforced Canadian morale during the bleak winter. Fast forward to December of 1813, and the Americans have now reigned over the lower Thames Valley for almost 2 months. Something had to be done. Unfortunately, many of the local inhabitants were hesitant to become involved due to fears that opposing soldiers would destroy their farms. The Canadian loss at Moraviantown allowed Americans to reclaim Fort Detroit, and most soldiers retreated back to this location. Of course, with the exception of Lieutenant Larwill and the 26th U.S. Infantry Regiment. These men were stationed at the former home of Thomas McCrae, a luxurious two-story brick building overlooking the Thames River in Raleigh Township, west of Chatham, Ontario. McCrae was a British loyalist, having acted as a steward in the American Revolution, not to mention his participation in the capture of Detroit, granting him the money to construct such a property. At around 7:30 a.m. on December 15, 1813, 33 local militia members, led by Lieutenants Henry Metcalfe and John McGregor, climbed up the snowy banks of the Thames, preparing for a surprise attack. By contrast, 39 men littered the American outpost, many of whom were asleep. Canadians quickly encircled the home and began firing volley or chamber swivel guns through the doors and windows of the building before barging in. A short but violent gunfight ensued, and ultimately American forces surrendered. Once the dust had settled, it came to be known that the local militia had suffered no casualties, while on the opposite side of the spectrum, the U.S. regiment saw 1 dead and 5 wounded. Furthermore, all 38 were taken prisoner to the British. While this battle may seem relatively insignificant in the grand scheme of the war, it forced Americans to retreat from southwestern Ontario, even if they would return later,